Sunday, July 7th on TV1. And I love this show because I'm a father raising a child, and I got a chance to meet a lot of people who became famous along the way. And I understand that fame, I don't believe, is something natural, Heather B. I say this often. I don't think it's natural for people to have millions and millions of others to follow them like that. There's no orientation for that. There's no textbook. There's no rules to it, and it changes so often. It's an anomaly because it's always a changing thing, especially as technology happens and people get older, and it's just so many different elements to fame. So I'm always curious about the parent of the famous child, right? And so this show, Raising Fame, is about just that. Who was the parent that raised the children that became famous?
Word. Because
their success is more than likely an ingredient of their parents or a result of their parents' rearing, teaching, struggle, sacrifice, all the different things that the parent had to do to make a way for their child. I know this firsthand because I do this for my child. These are the unsung stories of those parents who have reared some of the most famous, likable people on the planet Earth. In this case, I want to speak about a woman who's an entrepreneur, an educator, an author, a speaker, and she happened to be the woman that reared one of my favorite players in NBA history alongside his brother Seth, that I've had a chance to talk with many a times and interview him and find out after those interviews how intelligent, loving, and compassionate he is. I wonder who's his parents. How did he get this way? Because he's so famous. I'm talking about Stephen Curry.
Right.
And we have Steph and Stephen's mom here. The one and only Sonya Curry is here.
Oh, yeah. SC.
Sonya's here. Bay Area.
yeah.
You don't know how much heat I get in this room. Can I call you Sonya?
You can.
Sonya, welcome to the show.
Yes.
Thank
All right.
you for having me.
Absolutely.
Yes, having us. Yes.
Absolutely. I want to introduce this next person who I believe has a tremendous story. When I read up on her story, and when I see her son, someone I met in the 90s, when he was playing for the Lakers, and I was working at 92.3 The Beat in Los Angeles doing a syndicated show from 106 KMEL in the Bay Area. And he's happened to become one of the most brandable, likable, recognizable, billable sports figures in the history of sports.
Facts.
He, as a brand ambassador, I don't think anybody has meshed what it is he's been able to do. There's not been another artist, athlete artist that has sold more music than him.
Crazy.
Isn't this something?
Crazy.
I didn't know.
He's a DJ as well. He's an officer as well. Went back to get his education, which made sense to me because his mother did the same thing. She's a educated person, an educated woman who went back to seek more education, who always taught education, how important that was in her family. And she reared one of the most giant kids on the planet Earth. And somehow she fed him throughout his childhood.
That's the question.
I'm talking about the mother of Shaquille O'Neal. The one and only Lucille O'Neal is here.
Hey!
Happy to be here.
Come on.
Thank you.
Beautiful woman.
We're honored to be here. Honestly, it's an honor for us.
Really, thank you.
Yes, we must say.
I didn't even know we were on y'all radar.
Yes.
Like
Oh, absolutely.
yeah. I wish I could have grew up in y'all households and.
Would have been tough though.
Okay, let's talk about it because it wasn't. Well, welcome to the show. Congratulations on your new show.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
What would it have been like? What was it like growing up in the O'Neal household?
Well, it wasn't always as wonderful as it is now. However, we made it. We worked with what we had, and we were so full of love. You know, when you're full of love in your household, you don't even too much are concerned about all the other things. God blessed us in a special way. And we often talk about, Sonya and I, that our then is definitely not our now.
Come on. Wow. Well, so how many people in the household with you?
I had got 3 other children.
Okay.
My husband, he was there, so it was 6 of us. And you know what? When we went somewhere, we went as a unit. Shaquille being the eldest, so he followed my husband. I was on one side and the other 3 children in the back. And then we picked up some more children along the way, family. But what I say about our family is that we got ourselves involved in the neighborhood and in community. And you remember they said so many times it takes a village to raise a child. We were in the military, so we had a village around us, and we grew.
Yeah.
We grew with love, and we grew as individuals because of that love.
What did you see in Shaquille at a young age that might have gave you an inkling that he would become who he is today?
Well, first of all, he was bigger than everybody.
Okay.
So I knew then that he was going to be special. But my mother looked at him one day and she said, "That one right there, that's a special one." And so I just believed, instead of calling him different, I began to tell him, "You're not different. You are unique. And God has set you up for a leadership position." I said, "You give them something to look up to you for, because you taller than everybody else. They're going to be looking up anyway." So you give them something that's going to make them, want to follow you. And my husband used to say, "Be a leader, not a follower." We drummed that in him. You the man.
You the man.
You the man.
From what age?
From the time he was 12 or 13. And then he had that dream that he shared. He said, "I want to play in the NBA." And we told him, "It's possible, but you have to put in the work."
And it started as a dream.
It started as a dream, and we told him that if you get the college education, it's going to open up so many doors for you, but you have to be in a position in order to receive some of those scholarships. We didn't have any money. We talked education, and you go to school, but we didn't know how we were going to get him there. But we dreamed right along with him.
Wow. What kind of challenges, I think of some of the things my child dealt with. She actually grew up a little different than me. I grew up in East Oakland. She grew up in L.A., but with resources. So, and she was in spaces that it wasn't a lot of diversity, So there was challenges with identity and that sort of thing, trying to fit in the world. What kind of challenges did Shaquille experience as a young man?
Well, it was the same for us, because we first started out in Newark, New Jersey, and Jersey City.
Hey.
And
Whoa,
then
hold up. This ain't a gang call.
What?
She's from Jersey, Lucille.
Well, no,
we lived in Jersey City.
Well, that was going to be my question after you finish, Miss Lucille, because I love Shaq. Obviously, we all do here in this room. One of the qualities about him that I loved, he was always so welcoming. Like, you can tell he came from a family. It didn't matter what the dynamic was. He just was always so welcoming and so kind. And then as I was coming up around the same time, we all about the same age, I found out that he spent time in Jersey City, and that's my hometown. And I couldn't figure it out because I was so confused. It was Newark and it was Jersey City, so it was both. It was both places. And you came to Jersey City second, or?
We moved from Newark to Jersey City. He sings about it in 1 or 2 of his songs. But he was raised mostly in Newark, and then we joined the Army. We traveled for 20 years.
Wow.
So we were in and out of New Jersey, South Carolina, Georgia. We lived in Germany. So all those different places that helped him with learning how to receive all cultures of people. And so I believe that's why he's so loved. We love everybody. We got mad love for everybody.
I love that. You can feel it. Anytime you're around him, you can feel it.
So did he ever have any insecurities or complexes he dealt with?
He did, because he was bigger than everybody. They laughed at him. Of course, his name being Shaquille, Rashawn O'Neal, they made up so many other names, calling him out of his name, acting like they didn't know how to pronounce it. And then because of the laughter that he received from other people, it kind of hurt him a little bit. But we kept telling him, "You're unique. Don't worry about that." And it was hard at first. He would come home crying. He gonna be mad that I told you this.
That's okay. That's my guy.
He gonna come home crying. Younger in those younger days, because you don't know how to handle that. And even me, I didn't want to be tall, but I'm taller than most women. I didn't want to be tall, but you have to learn how to grow into that and become who God made you to be.
Amen.
And it's interesting, because in that process, he now knows that he's special. And then our job as parents, I tell all the parents, when we see the gift in them, it's our job to nurture that gift. And he has many gifts.
Wow.
And we did the best that we could to help him bring out those gifts so that other people would see him and he would use them, to just make himself happy and bless somebody
Other
else.
people,
and
yeah.
make them
Don't
happy.
tell all the story because you know.
I'm telling this my story.
One,
though.
one,
But this is my story.
one episode though is y'all, so you can't spill all the beans.
I love it though.
But you can't get it all. But everybody, listen.
Yeah.
When we sat down and talked with other parents, we realized how our stories are the
Yes.
same.
Yeah.
Really?
And a certain portion of them are the same. So she's telling me don't tell the story. We got the same story for a certain part of our lives.
Yes.
So what part, Sonya, of Lucille's story do you specifically identify with what was going on in the household?
Well, one, seeing your child when Stephen was born, the doctor saw his hands and his feet long, and they knew his dad played basketball, and they're like, he's got to play in the NBA.
Wow.
Well, then between when he was born and probably till he was about 16, he kind of took his mother's genes. And so I was like, here's a 12-year-old boy out here with a size 12 and a half, 13 shoe and running up and down the court slow as I don't know what, and feet flopping and hitting his shins. And I'm like, dear Lord, you cannot leave my child like this. Like this can't happen. He's got to grow. He's got to grow. And and so seeing him, knowing his aspiration at the time was just to play D1 basketball, and so. Knowing he was smart enough, knowing that, just like Lucille said, there's something about this child. Like everyone who met him, even when he was a little kid, all the family members was like, he's unique. He was just sweet, kind, gentle. He just kind of flowed into environments and into people very like cuddly and loving and just different. You see it, but you can't name it.
Yeah.
And so the same thing. And so, watching him actually work hard, that's what's common. All of these celebrities, when we talk to the parents, we were behind them to work hard. We set the example of what working hard meant and modeled it, but we were there to encourage them as they worked hard as well. And so, he was ridiculed a lot,
What did Stephen get ridiculed about, though? Just the
being
floppy
tiny,
feet?
being tiny, but also, your daddy's money, and your daddy's buying you these wins in high school and things like that.
They thought that Dale was buying,
paying the referees,
paying off the refs.
Yes.
Was he? No, I'm
was-
just kidding.
No,
Seriously,
no, he was tight. He wasn't paying nobody for that. No, it wasn't going to happen. But, at a tournament, they would come and bring credit. They pull out credit cards and like, you're paying the refs. And I'm sitting over like, I'm about to fight somebody in here. But, that everybody expected him. They always teased him too about, being raised with a silver spoon in his mouth, and, he had no worries. And so, and he was kind of entitled, and the world was just, open to him and given to him. Everything that he got, it was given. So it was kind of the reverse of Shaq's kind of situation. It was, the expectation was there for him.
But how did that affect? I can't imagine being the son of someone so famous. And I mean, how did he deal with that at a younger age? Did it weigh heavy on him at all?
I think the expectations, yes, of succeeding on the court and being a good basketball player. But we worked really hard raising them to we didn't buy the newspapers when Dell played. They didn't go to the games during the week because we would always say that's your daddy's job, period. Because I would see other, athletes, children in the stands with the diamond watches on and just, decked out every game. And I'm like, no, because what if that doesn't happen for them? So you're kind of setting them up for failure. And I watched a lot of kids fail at that goal of getting into the NBA. So we try to keep it real. You get what you're going to get. You're going to do what God has put you on this earth to be and do and have the impact. And that does not mean automatically, like everybody's saying about you and should be, what you should be doing. That's not you. That's your dad. So let's see where God takes you.
That's smart.
Wow, we have Lucille O'Neal is here, Shaquille O'Neal's mom. We have Sonya Curry, the mother of Seth and Stephen Curry. We're talking about Raising Fame. It's premiering Sunday, July 7th, 10 p.m., 9 p.m. Central on TV1 with I grew up with a brother and an older brother, older sister, but my brother, I was competitive with both of them, right? I just didn't want to get, and you never was going to just, smush me. I feel like Seth and Stephen must have had gone at it a lot.
All the time.
Okay.
Yes. There's a story out there where they, at 1 year they played on the same high school team. They went to the same high school, but they were on varsity together. And Dell comes home and is like, well, your son's got into a fight at practice.
Like a physical fight?
Like rolling around on the court, wrestling and fighting. And I'm like, oh, gosh. Because I'm an educator, started my own school. And I was their head of school for up and through till 6th grade. They went to their mom's school. And so I'm like, no, you can't act like that. And I'm like, what did you do? And he was like, nothing. I just let him finish it out. And always, Seth always, Stephen cheats. Y'all don't call the same fouls for him that you call for me. And I'm like, oh, Lord, boy, just play. And, that's just natural. It's good. It was fun to just watch them really develop each other through those, that competition. And Stephen was always the gentle older brother, though, too. Yeah. Like, he knew how much to push his younger brother, but he also knew when to let up on him as well.
I remember y'all used to go to the games and have to wear both jerseys or jerseys for both the teams. Was that a big deal? Like, if I still
kind of... my stomach quivers when I think about that time, because to watch two of your sons, it's a blessing. Don't
to have
get me
two
wrong.
sons in the NBA. Come on, let's talk about it. Yeah, come on. Right?
Praise God for that.
Yeah.
Amen. And then for them to make it that far in the playoffs, and you're just like, okay, what do you do? And behind the scenes, it's like, where do I sit? I mean, it's the small things in life. Which side do I sit on? And then, like, if Stephen makes a shot, but I'm sitting over in Portland section, and I'm jumping up, and I'm the only parent jumping up in the. It was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot, but when it was over, I just cried. I just broke down and cried. And I was just like, thank you, Lord. I couldn't lose because one of my sons was going to win. But it was tough. It was tough because it does take you back to when they're little, and you don't want to have the other one feel slighted at all at any point.
Yeah.
I will say I got a chance to interview Stephen Curry. He was doing a shoe drop years ago in San Francisco at a warehouse. French Montana performed, and we sat down one-on-one, and I walked away from that interview and said, there's so much more to this man than they talk about, right? Than the people know, and they should know.
Okay, you're going to make me cry.
Right. No, I really walked away like I had to sit and think about it for a sec. I didn't think I did the interview justice is really what it was when I realized who I was talking with. I think I did cool, but it excited me to know that there was so many layers. Same with Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah.
I've interviewed Shaq in the 90s, and I've interviewed him.
He was sitting right in that chair.
Right in this chair. Yeah. That's why I had you sit here. So you could. I knew Shaq dug a groove in it for you, so you'd be able to fit. But the same thing, and I think Shaq has done an excellent job. It's showing the world that I'm not one-dimensional.
Yeah.
I'm a multi-dimensional individual, from being a father, from being a businessman, even a commentator. So I want to commend you both on that. And I know this is the sort of things you're going to find out on Raising Fame. Tracy G, jump in there, Tracy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I love what both of you ladies are sharing. I've always joked around with my friends, but it's also coming from a pure place. When it comes to an athlete and you're the partner of that athlete, I'm always wondering, how do you console them after a big loss? Having mothers here, what do you say after a big loss? Do you give space? Do you have like a mini TED Talk in your back pocket that you pull out? Like, how do you start?
I used to go to the game, and Shaquille would get very angry a lot of times when he lost. So I'll just look at him, and I started a little ritual. Before we got to the game, I would pass him and give him some bubble gum, so he can chew it and help calm him down a little bit. But you know the problem with the free throws. I got a sign one day, and I was holding it up in the arena. It said, "Bend your knees, bend your knees." So we would have eye contact, and I would talk to him a lot of different ways. But he told me one day, he said, "I don't need that sign, and I would like for you to not put it up anymore." But I would just stay out of his way because he wanted to be in a place where he wanted to concentrate. He didn't want any help from anybody. He knew what he needed to do. He went out there to play the game, and win or loss, he learned how to accept it, whatever it was. And I would just try to tell him, it's just a game. And he would look at me and say, "Mama, you don't understand." He said, "If we lose, they put that on me. And if we win, they want to put that on me." I said, "Well, don't worry about that. Just play your game and have fun."
Yeah.
Just have fun.
And for me, what we'll learn in like Raising Fame is the stages that you go through as a parent, and learning your lane as they get older. In high school, same thing. Stephen always wanted to make contact, and we have our little sign, the heart for God, play for God. And if he was doing well, we were giving God the glory. If he was struggling, I was telling him, go lean into God. He's got you. And he always wants to make eye contact with all of his family. Every game to this day, he will know where you're sitting, friends, family, anyone, where, because he wants to connect with you and let you know he appreciates your support. And same thing with Seth. And so, for me, I had to learn, okay, high school, it was okay to be mommy coach principal. Always on. I was always on. And then you get to college and it's like, okay, a little less mommy and dad and more coach.
And what does that look like?
That means you just be quiet. You cheer. And then most of the time they look up in the stands and I'm praying. I'm literally praying. I got my head down like, Lord, help them. And then you get to the NBA and next level. And, all my 3 children were married by the time they were in the NBA. So I get to breathe and exhale. And then what I've learned from them is just be present, be there, and enjoy the game. So I've had to learn now how to just be a spectator and have fun, love the game. And then they go home, and what the wives do and what Stephen and Seth both have told me is, when I get home, I'm me. And he loves that because work was work. And I think about that now. Well, we would tell him, that's your daddy's work. That's what your dad does. So he has learned how to compartmentalize work from family. Now you can tell he's thinking about it, but he's actively trying to separate the two. And Seth does the same thing. When he gets home, it's whatever entertainment he wants to watch, or he might watch more basketball, but it's let's not talk about it.
Got it.
It helps create balance.
Yes. Yeah.
I love that.
Miss Lucille, on the subject of balance, and this is for both of you, I think listening to some of your stories and wondering, you have multiple children, each of you, but you have a kid, or have kids in this case, where they're superstars. They become superstars. Have you ever had to juggle, like, this is not my favorite, to the other kids? Because does it ever draw up some kind of maybe sibling rivalry, or you're treating Shaq different, or you're treating Steph different? How do you pour that same encouragement to the other kids? I'm the oldest of 4, but I'm the only one that ended up in the entertainment industry. That kind of adds something different to the family dynamic. Same with Sway. You have other siblings, of older brother and sister. He ended up in entertainment. Does it do something sometimes in the family dynamic with the other siblings?
Well, from the time my children were young, Shaquille and my oldest daughter Latifah, they're 6 years apart.
Okay.
They're 6 years apart. So Shaquille, being the eldest, he always took the, I don't want to say daddy role, but the leadership role.
Okay.
And he's so generous. He takes care of all of them. And they look up to him and they respect him, being the oldest, and the decisions that he makes for all of us. And I remember, and I still do tell Jamal, that's to my youngest son, you're not Shaquille, and Shaquille, you're not Jamal. Latifah, you're not Aisha. Aisha, you're not Latifah. Everybody knew their place. Shaquille's the oldest. Latifah's the next oldest. Aisha was, the middle child, and she was not the tallest one. And she would say, they tell me I'm not in the family because I don't look like her. But she was so sweet. She was so sweet. And she's going on to glory now. But my youngest son, You know, when Shaquille's away from home, he said, Jamal, you in charge. Everybody know their place. And it's just normal for all of us now. And our home is balanced, and I'm happy about that because we have a lot of homes where the children are fighting each other. They don't get along, and Shaquille being in the position that he's in. You know, jealousy could have seeped in, but
that's what I wanted. That's what I'm talking about. Sometimes.
So, I'm so happy with that part.
God being the center.
You win together, you lose together, and you know, we had this thing about our family was the big machine at home. So we all had a role to play as a family. And, you know, if one dropped the ball, it affected all of us. So, you know, raising your children with the mentality that we're all in this together. And yes, they joke each other as siblings. Yeah, Mom, you like Stephen better. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, well, he acts the best. So, you know, it's about, you know, we treat you all the same. We treat you all equally, but we treat you not the same all the time, differently according to you and our relationships. So our relationships are different with each one of our children.
That's real.
But I'm going to treat you and love you the same or equally, but not necessarily won't look the same. And so, you know, they'll have that. Yeah, you know, you like Stephen better. Well,
but I want to say this.
Don't get me in trouble.
But I want to say this. One of the children might need you more. You know,
in a different way.
And it seems like, well, maybe, Mommy, you love him more, but he might need a little bit more love than you do, Shaquille. So I have to give him attention today.
Yeah.
Jamal need it now. And when Jamal comes around, then I'll just give some more back to you.
But they do celebrate. They celebrate each other. Yeah. Yes. Very proud of each other.
I love this. We're going to take a couple of calls. You know, Shaq is special, man. Shaq came in when, you know, Shaq born in the, you know, hip hop generation. When he started making his music, it was really amazing. And at first, people didn't take it serious. Peter Gunn's a good friend of mine as well. At first, a lot of folks didn't take it serious, but you had to start really respecting him as an artist with certain songs he made. And he was touching on areas we rarely heard of. And thinking back, I was proud of it, especially when he made the song "My Biological Didn't Bother," right? And he was talking about his biological dad. We hadn't heard much about that conversation, but we all dealt with that conversation. What did you think when you heard that song?
When I heard that song, I knew that song came from his heart.
Yeah.
It really did. It told the story, how he even got to that place where he felt that way. But out of the song came the truth.
Yeah.
And it could have been anybody's story. And I know a lot of people said, man, he got to be talking about me. Because that happens in a lot of places around here. Yeah. And he didn't have any shame. I was so proud of him when I heard it. Yeah. And he thought I got jealous, but he wrote a song about me.
Got your song too.
You got my song too, but Shay, I was so proud. Sway. I was so proud of him because he told me, I'm going to do rap music. I didn't listen to rap music then, but I started listening to him and Tupac and Snoop Dogg and all of those that I could understand their music and where it was coming from.
He had a song with Biggie.
Yes.
Come on.
With Biggie.
Wow.
My mom let me buy I'm Outstanding just because she was a fan of Shaq and that his content was similar to, you know, like a Fresh Prince or something like that. Like she was okay with listening to it. So that CD, I'm Outstanding, was the first CD I ever bought.
And we had to understand what he was saying. Right?
Exactly.
Wow.
Shazam, you know, the movies. When you saw Shaq doing movies.
Blue Chips.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, Blue Chips.
When you see the episode with him, that's one of the things that I loved when I was interviewing you all too, is that he's a dreamer. You know, he will, you know, I won't share everything, but, you know, he'd come in, I want to do this. And she would always say, okay. And he'd go off and he'd do it. And he'd watch something, I'm going to do this. And he's still doing it. What was the season that show that he did where he was challenging different people in different genres of entertainment, wrestling?
Shaq versus.
Yeah, that's right.
Shaq versus. I was like, oh my gosh, he can do anything.
Right?
Anything.
Wow. I want to take a few calls, but what did Stephen dream about? Was it?
Right now, all Stephen's dreaming about, and sorry NBA, but that's golf.
I heard he's really good though.
He's gonna say, "Mom, don't give her the mic." But just in general, I think growing up in an athletic household, because I played athletes, watching your dad be in NBA, I think he's dreamed of being in the NBA. Seth has dreamed of being in the NBA. And then to watch them now, just Seth's thinking about going back and getting his law degree, I guess it is.
Wow.
And then Stephen really wants to do golf. So, and then, my daughter is really working with mental health. And so, we've just been pretty straight and narrow.
But it's good that they have dreams and they still have vision.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
Because we think about life. We're only going around this way once. And if the opportunity presents itself, start walking.
Start walking.
Just gotta walk.
Just walk through the door and keep going.
Amen.
A mother's love for a child is unmatched, but a mother's love for a son is something extremely unique. And at some point, those sons find other women.
Yes, sir.
They find wives. What was it like when you first met? Was it Shawnee his first wife?
Yes.
Yes. What was that like, knowing that my son is about to be married and has this new person in their life?
Well, before then, I had already gotten to the place where my place is secure. I don't care who he marry or who he get with. I know my place, and I'm secure in it. But it's hard to see them go into a relationship and somehow you may feel maybe that might not be the right relationship.
Yeah.
But we have to step back and we have to let it happen. And I tell a lot of the mothers, we're going to remain their mothers as long as they live. We are not their girlfriends.
Yes.
So I'm safe in my place.
There you go. I like
Safe
that.
in my place.
Safe in my place.
Sonya, you want to jump on that?
I pray for my children's significant others from the day they're born. I literally every night pray that God will bring a godly woman and a man into their lives, and he has not failed me yet. And I have two beautiful daughter-in-laws and a son-in-law that I actually consider them daughters now and a son. And I don't worry 1 ounce.
Wow.
1 ounce. Have great relationships with them, and I tell them they have a no return policy, so we can't exchange, we can't do anything. Not in mommy's store, so you can't bring them back.
Yo, that's hilarious. Not a mommy's store.
There's no return policy.
No return policy.
You stuck with that one. All right, let's take a couple of callers. We got
Miss Lucille, you want to say something?
I wanted to say, out of these relationships, we have beautiful grandchildren.
Yes. Y'all have awesome grandchildren.
Yes.
Y'all have beautiful grandchildren.
Yeah.
I've had a couple of your grandchildren on this show as well. So I haven't had your grandchildren on, but they're all over the big screen.
They're only 11 now.
Oh, okay.
The oldest is 11. We just had our 9th one, so.
Wow.
You still got time.
Still got time. All right, cool. We got Sam on the line from Birmingham. Sam, welcome to the
What's
show. How
up,
you doing,
Sam?
Sam?
Hey, Sam.
Welcome. Hey, thank you for holding for me. I'm a baby boy in my family. My mother's passed. But these are my two new boys. I can't wait for y'all show to come on the air because Steph and Shaq are my favorite players of all time.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Thank you for the love.
And I heard Shaq, when Shaq first told me, or when he first said that Stephen Curry was his favorite player, I knew that they had the hearts of their mothers. Both of them.
Wow.
So I can't wait for y'all show to come on.
Well,
Thank you very much.
Hey,
for
Sam.
supporting.
Hey, man, it's coming on July 7th, 10 p.m. So make sure you mark that on your calendar, brother, and you're a super citizen.
A Sway in the morning.
All right, we got Anthony on the line from New York. Ant, talk to
What's
us.
up, Ant?
Big Ant.
Good morning, crew. Y'all doing good?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
how about you?
Doing great. So I wanted to speak to the moms in the building. Peace, Queens, first of all. And my question is, how important is it for a mother's role when it comes to playing a supportive part in your son's life when chasing his dreams?
Anyone you want to answer in particular? This is Lucille O'Neal.
Yeah, you should answer it, too.
Okay,
go
well,
for it.
well, let me
Because
just.
that setup was so gangster.
Yeah,
I was
this
like,
is-
yes.
I want you to answer it.
A mother's role in supporting your child's dream.
Yeah. Even if you don't believe in the dream necessarily.
And that's a great question.
Yeah.
But
You
we
just
don't- we
believe.
don't-
I don't know if we don't believe in it. I think we just let them dream it, and we try not to get in the way. We try not to. We try to remove all obstacles. I do that, or I did that. Was trying to just set them up for success. But that really started with the foundation of life, the skills of life, because you can have dreams, but if you just can't operate on a day-to-day basis in your life with order, you're not going to accomplish that dream anyway. So the basics of, we would say God first, so spiritually being strong individuals, family second, your priorities with your family, doing those chores when you're little, the sacrifices for your family, getting up in the morning, and then sports helped our children because you had to get up, you had to practice, you had to work hard, you had to get up at 5 in the morning, you had to stay later, you had to do all these things. Well, to accomplish a dream, you've got to work hard. It's just not going to fall in your lap. And the door may open, but you still got to walk through that door, and you got to still feed that dream. And so that's where celebrity and this high level of success and fame comes from, is constantly feeding the flame by working hard and being passionate. When you fall down, you get up and next play. So just trying to encourage them all the time and just nurture them and their development as human beings.
Well, I've learned that the dreams that they have are not ours.
Yes.
I like that.
Ooh.
And I think that when they express the dream that they have to us, it's our job to support whatever it is. And if we see them fall short, that's when we say, well, what happened? Why aren't you working towards that dream? Because you can have a dream, but if you put in the work, you'll see it manifest right in front of your eyes.
Come on.
Man, Lucille O'Neal, man, you got.
I know.
You need to be doing.
I want her to be my aunt or something.
I want her to do voiceover work.
Yeah.
Read my book.
Now, see, that's one
That's
of my
why you got to
dreams, to
read
do
the
some
book.
voiceover
Walk
work.
like you got.
You got it.
You got it.
You got it. Hey, real quick, I know we gotta go, but I when your son won his first NBA championship, what was that night like?
We don't have words for it. We don't have words for it. It took so long to come.
Yeah.
And we watched the disappointments along the way. And then Shaquille, when I saw Shaquille crying, I was crying too.
Yeah.
Because I know the journey, how much it took for him to get there.
Yeah.
And I felt it deep down in here. I was so proud of him as well as happy for him. Because when it went bad, it was always his fault.
They always blamed him. Yeah.
And we had to get through that. And I told him, you can't take the fault for the whole team. Everybody, it's always going to be a team better. And your time is coming.
Right.
And when it came, it kept coming 3 straight years.
Yeah.
And then they had to take a little break and then he went somewhere else and got some more. But I was so happy for him.
Yeah.
And that's when we lived the dream with them.
Yeah.
That's when you're inside the dream,
Yes.
right? You're inside the dream. What about you, Sonya?
I watched last night when Boston won. And, the whole saying of a champion is, now what you gonna say?
Yeah.
Right? And so that was my mentality, because you're in the battle with them. And so all the naysayers, and even when Stephen first went to the Warriors, and why do we need another guard? And he was tiny still, and he worked his butt off. He endured injuries, and and when they won that first one, it was just like, shut up, everybody. Shut up.
How you like
And
me
they
now?
still talking.
Come on.
And they still talking. And how many we got? 4.
4. And within 10 years. Sonya, I'm glad you're here, because this is what I say to Heather all the time. There's no Warrior fans in here other than me.
I'm from Jersey. I'm just
Okay.
saying.
Well, Seth played for Brooklyn, so.
Yeah. Hey, Sonya, give him a Warrior.
Warriors.
Y'all got the same attitude. I can't believe it.
That Curry fan. We love the Currys in the Bay.
Yes.
They're royalty. You know y'all Bay Area royalty. You don't have to say it.
No.
Yeah, I'll say it. Don't say it. You ain't got to say it. I'll tell you. I'm straight up Oakland. So, this is amazing.
Yes.
You are amazing individuals. You are
Truly.
amazing
Yeah.
people.
Thank y'all
With
for coming.
amazing spirits.
Thank you.
The mother is the teacher of civilization. You are our first teachers. You have done an excellent job. You are the mother of the universe. Both of you. And you've shown it. You created these godly characters, and Shaquille O'Neal, Stephen, and Seth Curry. You've done this, and without you, they couldn't. I mean, they had to do the work, but it came from you all. So I want to say thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
You know, Miss Lucille, I know it wasn't easy. You know, and I know your story, and I can't wait to hear it. I don't want to ask everything on Raising Fame, but my gosh.
God
look
bless.
look what it is now, as y'all say.
God bless both of y'all.
And the show, I want to plug this. The show too, because we interview the celebrity, so it's reversed. Usually it's the celebrity and a little bit of the parents. This is all the parents and a little bit of the celebrity. But what it's turned into also is the celebrity to really do a love video,
open love video
to their parents.
Wow.
And so, you know, we have one episode where we Billy Porter Jr. We interviewed him, and a month later, his mom passed, went on. And so, you know, they'll have that video forever for him to look back. And she had never done interviews before. So that's what's beautiful about our show is several parents, guardians have never done interviews before, but have given us the exclusive to come into their homes, hometowns, and just opening their hearts to us. And we are just eternally grateful to these folks. Beautiful people and stories.
And we found out by talking to some of the families the spiritual aspect of that household.
Yes.
It surprised us, and it just made us feel wonderful because we believe in God. We got strong faith in God, and we know by the grace of God we're here in this place. But to just sit down and we pray, we laugh, we talk. And we left these interviews just feeling so refreshed and so full.
Wow.
So I want to encourage you, if you get the opportunity to sit down with your family. It's really, really gonna be good.
Okay. I love it, man. Raising Fame is premiering July 7th, 10 p.m. on TV1.
Congratulations.
Sonya Curry, Lucille O'Neal.
God bless.
Wow, royalty up in here. We're going to end the show next, right? We got royalty up in here.
Royalty.